All right, let's make a formal introduction for our listeners. Good morning, Germán. My name is Claudio, and I'm calling you from Washington, D.C., from the studios in Fairfax City. We are very grateful that Germán Vergara accepted our invitation to our show. Germán, welcome to our show, man.
Thank you very much, Claudio. Very happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Germán, let's go back to the beginning in your life. Were you born like in a musical family? How old were you when you perhaps began taking, I don't know, guitar lesson or piano lesson when you were a little kid?
I wouldn't say that I was born in a musician's family, but there was a piano there. For some reason, my father bought a piano, so I guess I have to thank my father for buying a piano, and we got piano lessons when we were kids. Me and my older brother, Luis, and we started the band in a few years in the future. So it was not a musical family, but there was a piano in the house, and of course that helped. And later I got a guitar for my 14th birthday.
Yeah,
I got an electric guitar.
Were you in a band in high school? What was the first band to begin with?
The first band I had, it was a sort of punk rock or punky band, a sort of Green Day band I had in high school. I was about maybe 16 years old. Yeah. And later I started developing a more, I would say, sophisticated taste in music. And my older brother, studied classical piano, and I got interested in prog rock. And of course, I ended up working with my older brother in a band that is IELTS. So IELTS was like my second band.
Got it. What kind of music were you listening in high school when you were 16, 17?
In high school, I was listening a lot to Queen, to Led Zeppelin, to Pink Floyd, Toto. Those were the kind of bands that I listened to in high school. Actually, the first rock band I remember was, my older brother got in my room when I was almost falling asleep, and he told me, "You have to listen to this," and put me the stereos,
headphones,
the headphones, and it was Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. And I remember that moment, and I must have been 12 years old or something like that, or 11, I'm not sure, but I was shocked. I was impressed. Before that, the music I listened to in my house was, Elvis Presley because of my father, Roxette because of my older sister, Bon Jovi, that kind of music. But when I listened to Queen, it was, wow, this is different. I was shocked. And I remember that summer, I spent the whole summer like dreaming that I was doing the guitar solo. And I remember that was the first connection to music with such a passionate interest. And of course, Queen, Pink Floyd, later Iron Maiden. That was kind of the early high school music, like in the, what do you say, secundaria?
In the secondary school?
Yeah. Secondary school, yeah. That was the kind of music I listened to. And in the second part of that, of high school, Rush, Yes, Genesis, and I got into that music that has more to do with what we do as IELTS.
Good for you. Very happy for you. You are based in Santiago, and you have released 5 acclaimed studio albums, right? And
that's right.
And you have toured in the Americas, so Europe, performed with progressive legends like Marillion, Focus, Riverside. Feel free to elaborate. The first time you opened for Marillion, Focus, Riverside, were you nervous? Sure. You were telling me before that, man, you as a kid, you were dreaming, thinking about Marillion, listening to your music, and then 20 years later, you're opening for the band. Man.
Yeah, that was a very special feeling. Like if you were talking to your 15 years old self, right. I would say, see, we made it in a way. You never really made it because we are ambitious and we always want more. But still, that night was very magical because I was sharing the stage with one of my music heroes. Steve Rothery. I still love the way he plays the guitar. He's such a interesting guitar player.
Yeah.
And as you asked, we toured Europe, the US and Mexico when we were promoting Hawaii. is our fourth studio album, a double
Yeah.
studio album, a very interesting album,
Mm.
which is a sci-fi album about the future, a future where humans have to leave the earth because it's polluted, because it's unlivable. And the concept, the lyrics are very interesting, and we got amazing reviews, from Prog Rock magazine, from many places. That led the band to be able to tour Europe, the US, and Mexico. And after that, we opened for Marillion in Chile here 2017. Marillion, Focus, and last year we opened for Riverside. I know you heard of the Polish prog rock band Riverside.
Correct. Yeah.
They are pretty recent.
Yeah, but they're very good. The three bands that you mentioned, Merino, Fogo, man, that's like a dream come true for you. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
Good
the
for you.
band, yeah, the band
Go
was
ahead.
able to tour. Yeah, in South America, we've been to Argentina, Chile, but then it's Mexico, Europe, and the US, because it's hard to tour in Chile for this type of music.
Hmm. But yeah, it's so it's good that it's variety. I mean, some people like classic rock and reggaeton and rock and and so forth. It's but
Yeah,
it's like a niche, right? To the people that like progressive rock. So
prog rock is a niche, and we
right.
always thought or believed that we were a little broader than prog rock.
Yeah,
But always the critics, the
always put you
the
in the
reviews, they
bucket.
say, yeah, but that's okay. We don't mind. We have a prog rock influence, but we also listen to electronic music, to jazz, to new age music. I love Vangelis, Jean-Michel Jarre.
Yeah,
I love Miles Davis.
yeah, yeah.
I love
I'm going.
Cat Stevens.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I'm going to be interviewing Jean-Michel Jarre in May or so. Yeah.
Nice. No, I
Oh, and
love his sounds.
he's unbelievable.
His
Oxygen.
oxygens
Yeah.
are
Man, I
amazing.
love the frame that you have in the background. I think
Yeah.
the one on the left is Brit Floyd, and the one on the right is Stanley Kubrick movie, which
Yeah.
is very good. Yeah. Good for you, man.
Clockwork Orange. I
Yeah.
love movies. I love movies. I love Pink Floyd. I
Yeah.
have other posters like the Beatles, Led Zeppelin,
Good for
some
you, man.
Isles posters, and that in the background is a frame from Bahamut. Bahamut is
Yeah.
the latest release. I mean, the latest EP is this one, has 7 tracks. Bahamut.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know
Good
if
for
you're
you, man.
reading
Yeah.
this. You're reading this backwards, or
No, I'm
it's
reading fine.
correct.
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
Bahamut.
fine.
Isles Bahamut, and we did this for a novel, for a science fiction novel.
Yeah.
I've always been into sci-fi, and we
Good
were
for you.
invited by this writer, Chilean writer, Francisco Ortega. He said he was a huge fan of the band. We had worked before. He had co-written a script for the video Fast, which is from the album Beyond Drama. But now he asked us if we could make musicalize his novel, which was
Good for
something
you.
very interesting for us. Yeah, Bahamut. That's the name of the EP.
In 2005, you released the first album called The Yearning, and it was recognized for its elegant and delicate melodic work. Especially with the song, the Wharf had to hold his vessel, and great, right? Feel free
Great.
to elaborate how difficult it was to put it together, what was the ambition, where was recorded, and you
Yeah,
always gamble when you do your first release. It's going to be the first and or only one, because you don't know how it's going to be received and so forth. So
yeah. It takes a lot of work to make your first release, of course. And we were very young, and we have a very low budget. I mean, incredibly low budget. So we recorded in a room. We acousticized the room with a computer. We had good instruments, though. We had like good synthesizers and good guitars, but it was not a professional studio. And we were impressed by the result. And the Yearning is an album very much about that journey, that journey of music, the journey of life. It's a sort of existentialist and romantic sort of album. And as you say, the Wharf that holds his vessel, that one is the most streamed, the most listened song on Spotify. The first song from the first album, stuff that happened. It's a very nice, interesting song. Some people compared it to Camel, compared us to Marillion.
Oh yeah,
it's an epic song. It's a 11, if I'm not wrong, 11-minute song. It was very hard. The time signatures, the lyrics are intricate, but above all, we put our souls into the making of that record. And as you say, The Wharf That Holds His Vessel and Gray, those two songs are very long and are what we were thinking of music at the time. Like, music was a journey. So even today, I listen to those songs and I'm impressed about the amount of ideas. It's a bit like Yes. We're probably because we love Yes, our music or some of our music didn't have a song structure. A song structure, I mean a popular song structure, like a verse, a chorus, verse, chorus, coda, or ending.
Yeah.
And these two songs that you mentioned from the Yearning don't have structure. It's like a constant motion and journey, and only at the end you revisit the ideas from the beginning. It's an epic. Those are two epic, very interesting songs. Maybe the sound's not the better, first album, but I'm still proud of what we did with the Yearning.
And then after that, were you able to tour with that album? And
only in Chile. Only in Chile, mostly in Santiago, and some dates in Valparaíso.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was too hard at that time to go abroad. Only for the next album we were able to play in France in Sudden Walks.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about that one. That's another very good album. We are talking about 2009. And I think it was nominated for the first foreign record at the Prog Awards in Italy. Man, that's a big deal, man. You guys were very young, coming out of South America at the end of the world, and then being nominated in Italy, which is, Italy are Italian are very sophisticated prog rock listeners, and they really love good music. And so it was very meaningful for them to nominate you.
Absolutely. And it's very interesting that, being from a small country in South America, you are noticed in Italy, you're noticed in France, because that year we were invited to open a festival, a progressive rock festival called Crescendo. I'm not sure if they're already doing it.
Yeah.
But in Chile, we started to be noticed after that. So it happens a lot, in these countries that poets, like Gabriela Mistral, are recognized abroad and then locally. It's a little sad, but it's the truth.
That's a reality.
It's the truth.
That's reality.
Yeah.
And so you were nominated for the award, and then you start. People in Latin America will start noticing, who is this band that was nominated from Chile, and then I suppose that opened more doors for you, right?
Absolutely, in Chile, we started getting invitations from radio stations. We played in several radio stations. We were interviewed. And from now on, I think we have a good support from rock radios in Chile, like two stations that play, but basically the two stations that play rock music always have us there, interview us or.
Yeah, feel free to mention the radio. So feel free to.
Sonar, Radio Sonar Radio, and Futuro.
Futuro.
Those two stations play rock, and they always consider us. So yeah, we're happy for that. And the band has ambitions to go abroad and keep promoting music. And we know that this type of music is a niche everywhere, even more so in Chile, which is a small country. So we
But
understand that. But
yeah,
yeah, tell me.
go, no, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I finished the
So,
idea.
are your you know, with when the bands in general release a new album and they invest X number of dollars putting it together, they need to figure out a way to recover that investment. Nowadays,
Yeah,
if you are kind of popular in Spotify, you get a check for $10, right?
yeah,
In Bandcamp, it's fair for the musician because I think Bandcamp only take 10%, so you get 90 cents of the dollar for every
yeah.
EP, iBall, CD, and any digital format that you end up releasing. So what's the balance for you guys? How you figure out, how
Yeah,
much money to invest in the next album before, figure
sure.
out how you want to recover your investment?
Yeah, we have many like income sources. Of course, one is streaming, which is very
Yeah,
low.
yeah,
Streaming pays low money, and the most important income for us is physical sales. In our
yeah,
website, which is www.ilsproject.com, we have a store there, and you can buy our merch. CDs, LPs. We have two LPs, two vinyls,
mhm,
4:45 a.m. and Hawaii.
yeah,
And people from especially the US, France, and UK buy a lot that record. It's a very well recognized um, piece of music. I can tell you a very interesting story. Once I was in Tokyo, not for music. I was just visiting Tokyo as a tourist, and I get into a record store in Tokyo, a big one. Disc Union was the name of the store,
oh
and
yeah,
I go
another
to
place,
the
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
it's very
yeah,
famous
very
place, yeah.
famous place, and I go to the weird music section or prog rock or fusion, and looking for records, I find Hawaii there. My album, and it was very beautiful because beautiful experience because it's Tokyo, so far away,
Yeah,
probably the farthest place from Chile, and it
of
was
course,
there.
yeah.
And then I remembered, oh yeah, we have a distributor in the Netherlands that sells to Japan. Yeah, and I made the connection, but it was a unexpected surprise. Very beautiful. So for me as a musician and as a band, I can say that we've reached like um, audience from everywhere. We're
Mm.
still part of a niche, and we hope to grow, and that's what we're doing now. Promoting music, making new music, more music, because we want to grow. But I can say that we've accomplished something. We have a following from these countries. From Europe, the US, Chile. We have a following in Chile. I was telling you, after in Saturn Walks, we started getting more recognition. We started like um, playing in theaters, and we have a very faithful group of fans here in Chile too.
Then in 2013, like 3-4 years after, you end up releasing 4:45 a.m. The
Yeah,
same question, feel free to elaborate how that came together. I suppose that was after two albums and you start getting recognition for people all over the world and more followers in Latin America. It was easier to release a new one because I suppose a record label. I don't know if you're releasing that on your own and you go to a record label, but it would have been easier, I suppose, right?
yeah. The record label was Presagio
Yeah.
Records, which is my own record label. I knocked doors on record labels before, and if the doors didn't open, I said, okay, I'm gonna make my own record label. What's the big deal? So yeah, I made my own record labels. I distribute some music. I have some licenses from labels and CDs that we sell here in Chile.
Mhm.
But your question was about the third album. Yeah, 4:45 a.m. We had the same record label, Presagio Records. We got distribution in
Mhm.
France, in Germany. So we distribute music to those countries, in the US. And 4:45 a.m. Had more um, was played more on radio because of the single. I think 4:45 a.m. is a more catchy type of song, more rush oriented or pop oriented in a way, and that got more plays. It's a very good song. I actually recommend it. 4:45 a.m. has a beautiful guitar solo, 2 guitar solos doing harmonies, and as I was saying, a more sort of Rush, Queen-esque sort of melodies, like very easy to catch. And yeah, and that was the single from 4:45 a.m. But it's a very dark album as well. You know, there's a song called Melancholia, which is very sad. It's a long journey. It's a 12-minute song.
Yeah.
Very much in the style of Isles, which is more introspective and melancholic sort of music. I think that's a very good record at 4:45 a.m.
Yeah, good for you, man. And then, you know, like it happens in all the band, you know, some people end up leaving for many reasons. They have kids, they have family, they don't
Yeah.
want to tour. And then you need to recruit some people, they need to learn the song. You know, how difficult it is to get new folks and for them to learn the material and start rehearsing and so on, so forth, because it's not that easy, you know, to take a
No,
drummer or to take a
it's
keyboard
not
player,
easy.
a bass player. Yeah.
It's not easy at all. So we 4:45 a.m. we have a formation, you know, a lineup, and we kept that lineup in Hawaii, which is a double album,
Yeah.
a lot of music. It's like 70 minutes of music, and after that, we changed the singer. So we've had changes. Even before, after In Sudden Walks, my older brother Luis, with whom I founded the band,
Yeah.
he left the band, or we didn't come to an agreement of what was the way to follow, you know, the road to follow for the band. And yeah, it's hard. We've kept a core of the band. Now JP, the keyboard player, and Daniel, the bass player, are the same keyboard and bass player from 4:45 a.m. on. So, but we had to change the lead singer. We had to change the drummer, and he was a very good drummer. But I'm very happy with the new drummer. We released with Felipe Beyond Drama, our 2023 record, and we changed the drummer. As you say, it's hard to keep doing it. You get there are tensions in the band. When you're not making it, it's even harder. Bands that are making it have a hard time sometimes getting along. You know, some bands that are selling tickets and touring the world sometimes don't get along. Imagine how hard it is for a band that is not known, or I mean worldwide known. But most of the time we had a really good time, and I think we were friends. And 4:45 a.m., but especially Hawaii, which is a beautiful album, we were really connected as a group of human beings, really connected.
Yeah, let's obviously I wanna bring your attention to Hawaii, because that's in my opinion, you know, a masterpiece. That's the fourth album for the band that was released in 2016, a conceptual double album that narrated the life of humanity in space after the destruction of the Earth. So feel free to elaborate on that. What was the motivation to put that together? How difficult was to put it together? Because it's very different from the other three, as we talked before, right? You know, the media and Prog magazine labeled you in kind of Prog magazine bucket, Latin American band, you know, a growing Latin American
Yeah,
band, and then all of a sudden you release Hawaii, and people say, man, this is very different from, you know, from the other three
yeah,
albums. We thought this guy were just a prog band for Latin America, but now they end up releasing something different, which is, in my opinion, is very good. It's a double album. Plus the cover is beautiful, and the picture inside. It's a very well done
yeah.
album, man. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Claudio. Yeah, as I was saying, we were really connected, and we were, in a way, isolated from the world. We were not paying attention to what the industry wanted, to what was trending. we just that was a special time in our career, mine too, where we got to a rehearsal with the guitars, with the bass, with the we rehearsed in the drummer's house. He had a studio there, and we were having fun. We were really having fun. And this concept album, we started developing ideas, and then we thought, why don't we make a concept album, a futuristic concept album? And we were discussing what should we do. And at some point, I say, why don't we take the song from Inside and Walks Hawaii, which narrates the departure of men from Earth to outer space, because humanity is forced to live because of the conditions. And a group of people, a group of scientists, humanists, or artists, philanthropists, take this mission to keep humanity alive, and especially art, music, philosophy. It's like a sort of project of taking everything that's valuable, species, animals, books, music, plants. It's a sort of Noah's Ark in a way, about saving the deepest creations of humanity, and of course the natural world. And because the theme was so deep, we decided to keep writing the music for this project. We didn't have a name yet. We continued writing music in a beach house. We had the luck. My parents had a beach house, and we had it for ourselves. 6 musicians with our instruments, amps, in front of the sea, literally in front of the sea. So we had writing sessions, and if we got tired, we went out and listened to the waves, or at night we made a barbecue and looked at the stars and listened to music and talked about the concept. And then we were back at 3 a.m. in the morning to develop an idea. And then we got to bed very late and woke up the next day with the only purpose of writing music. So that's what I think made Hawaii so special, because we were connected as humans, and because we didn't care if it was commercial or not. And it's really uncommercial in a way, but it got the attention of the specialized media for sure, and it helped us, travel to Europe.
That after that album, obviously, that they opened a lot more doors for you to tour in Europe, United States, and Mexico, and so on, so forth. So it was.
Yeah.
I think it was in many ways. If you look back, you like before and after that. I think that took your band.
I think we were in a peak of creativity, because we decided to combine elements, futuristic elements. I remember in the song Club Hawaii, let's make a sort of Latin metal, like Latin, but metal. Like, what kind of music would people listen to in the future? And it's a very avant-garde piece of music, Club Hawaii. And in the studio, in the end of the song, there's an experimentation of noises and screaming. And yeah, people have to listen to the song, because it's really a song about humanity, about a club in outer space that invites people to get a flavor of the earth. You can get in a chamber and smell the ocean for the first time. You're in space, or smell the humid grass, or this, the sound of waves, the sound of birds. Experience the earth in that club, which is a club where a lot of experiences happen. Like experimentation with drugs, with art, a sort of hyper bohemian, like very bohemian sort of club, but very nostalgic, where people want to get something from the earth, from that lost place that was lost That's the beauty of Hawaii. So a place that they don't know, the newer generations, that their parents knew, and they get a flavor of the earth in that club. That's very beautiful concept, I think.
Absolutely, man. That's a beautiful level. Good for you guys. And I think I don't know if the magazine used to be, or probably still is, a rock magazine called Rockaxis
Yeah,
in Chile that did a very
yeah,
good article, you guys, and then that I
yeah.
suppose that helped you get out. I don't know if the magazine still exists or not, but
They did digitally.
yeah,
They don't
digital, yeah,
release it on paper anymore, but
yeah.
yeah, they still exist as a digital. And most of magazines are now digital.
Yeah, everything, and they did a very good article, you guys, and
Mm.
I suppose that help you guys out a little bit with that,
Yeah,
promoting that album, promoting the
yeah.
band.
Reviews. Reviews have always been good for us. But what is hard is to reach a wider audience for some reason. It's we've had some very good reviews, but in these days industry, it's hard to get known for more people.
Mm.
That's the tricky part. Yeah, but we have to. Yeah, I'm thankful to those guys, Rockaxis, and the guys in Prog Magazine are
Yeah,
always very generous and consider us and write good reviews. So I'm very
yeah,
happy for
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 people that
that.
don't know, Prog Magazine is a very well-known magazine. Digitally, distributed digitally and physically in the UK, and
In the
they
UK.
have
Yeah,
done several interviews of you guys. Every album, I think,
yeah,
has reviewed there, and great debut, man. Good for you, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we're very happy with those guys in the UK.
Yeah,
It's
good. Yeah, good for you, man. After that, you end up releasing, after the success of the Hawaii, you end up releasing an EP called, I think, Live from
live from
Studio del
us.
Sur. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's
and
a
I
very
think,
good recording studio
oh
here in
yeah,
Chile, and
yeah,
and and we decided like between tours. I think we between Mexican tour and the US tour, we had some months without dates, and we decided to get in the studio with cameras and
mhm,
to shoot like a live session. So it's
mhm,
interesting because that EP has the version in YouTube. You can watch that session in YouTube. It's
yeah,
live from Studio del Sur,
yeah. And
and
I'm
we
going to
played.
be, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, and we played songs from Hawaii and some songs from 4:45 a.m. Yeah, yeah. We played Club Hawaii. We played Still Alive. We played Shallow and Daft, and the other one from the Yearning, our first album.
Oh, I
We
got it.
played we played Clouds Motion. So I really recommend you guys to either listen to the EP
Yeah,
live from Studio del Sur or go to our YouTube channel
yeah.
and watch the session.
Yeah, I'm going to be putting, Germán, I'm going to be adding the link in the description of the video so people to go directly to your YouTube channel on Facebook and
Perfect,
YouTube and listen to your music as well. I think that
perfect.
that studio that you mentioned is a very well-known studio, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I've
It's the
never been
most
there.
important studio. Some of the best in Latin America, I think.
Really?
Some
Yeah.
in Buenos Aires, but this one is very good. Caco Lion is a sort of philanthropist in a way because it's such a good studio that you think probably he doesn't earn money with the studio because it's not that expensive, and he's always buying new gear, new equipment, new guitars, new
Yeah.
amps, the best mics, the best microphones available. So it's and the beauty of that studio is that it's in the countryside,
Mm.
very far away from the city. Like I would say it's like 40, 50 kilometers away from Santiago, so it's not that far.
Yeah.
But if you go out at night, you can see the stars and no noise, no cars, nothing.
Yeah.
And we actually recorded Hawaii. We recorded it there. We stayed there in a lockdown.
Good
Uh,
for you.
I told you about the beach experience, so we
Yeah.
decided to repeat that experience when we recorded. We were recording it, so
Yeah.
that's what I mean when I say there was magic in that album because we took a long time to be really focused. And then we went back to the studio to record that live EP, live from Studio del Sur.
And you mentioned that it's not that expensive to record there, or
I think it's not that expensive for the
compared to
for the quality,
what they offer.
For the quality, and compared to other studios, it's a little more expensive, but from other studios in Santiago, but a lot better. And including they promote their studio to people from abroad, people from the US go to that studio to record, because what they're selling is the experience of a very isolated place with a high-end, high-quality recording studio.
Yeah,
they have an SSL. They're a very nice console.
Good for you. Yeah, when I'm there, the next time I go to Chile, I would I should go their place and get a car with my nephew and then go and visit the place, because I love visiting recording studios and so.
You should totally go. It's in Maria Pinto, like on the way to Melipilla.
Yeah, good for you, man. Yeah, all right. I'm glad that. Plus, I'm glad that the guy, Caco Lion, I don't know, I have not interviewed him, but probably he have done well financially, that all the money that keep on investing in replacing this, replacing that, and it's it's expensive, business, hobby, and so forth. So
in a way, expensive hobby, but probably he has some returns, but I think he spends more than
the money coming in,
than the money coming in. Yeah.
And but good for you guys. Then the band released the 5th album, Beyond Drama, in April 2023, almost a year ago.
Yeah.
And I think the same problem that Behove, right? So there were some people at the leaving the band, and you need to replace them, find new, learn the music, and that's the nature of the beast, I suppose, right?
Yeah. Before we recorded Beyond Drama, when we were in fact in the middle of the writing sessions, we decided to not keep working with Sebastian, the lead singer, because of some health problems. We were on different pages. He was a little I don't want to say immature, but he was having difficulty, having some issues, some personal issues. So we decided to stop working with him, and we hired a new singer, Israel, and the album was already made, in fact, and Israel had to learn the melodies, added some arrangements, his own style, and I think it's a very dark album. It was written in pandemia. Most of it was written during the pandemic, and it was recorded during the pandemic, and I went through a personal breakup, with my ex, and I lived with her for 17 years, and that happened just before the lockdown, not the lockdown, the quarantines happened.
Yeah, the lockdown is fine.
So I found myself alone, a city that I could not visit. You could not go out. In Chile, it was a little extreme, I think. It was winter, and all I could do was write music. So it's a pandemic album. It's a existentialist, dark, but musically very strong album, Beyond Drama. It's gotten very, very good reviews. It's very personal. I think I had never written such a personal stuff, because Hawaii was a concept album, so I had to. There are personal ideas, of course, but it's different from when you talk about your own experiences, not your own ideas. You know what I mean? The difference?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So writing about the exhaustion of the band, of the meaning of life, of for example, the song Megalomania. It's a song that I was writing. The lyrics. The actual days that my girlfriend was moving out from the house. So it was in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of the personal drama. That's why the name of the album is Beyond Drama, because it started with the drama of having to let go my brother Sebastian, the lead singer, and that was very hard. Telling your own brother that we would not continue working with him. It
not
broke
that
my
easy,
heart.
yeah.
It's not that easy. It broke my heart in a way. So yeah, and then the political context in Chile was very bad, polarized. There was violence in the streets. There was intolerance in the conversation. It was complicated, and that's reflected in the album too. It's a sort of apocalyptic album, and I invite you, the people that are watching, the listeners, the people that are watching this show, to go and watch Fast, the video for the song Fast, and watch Megalomania, and you're gonna capture the essence of the moments we were living in, a sort of that we were in a violent world, that we're in a lonely world. See, I know it sounds a little depressive, but I'm telling you what the album is about. There's hope always in music. There's always some hope. There's a song called Thanks to Kafka, which is a very sad song, where I sing. I sang two songs in the album, Thanks to Kafka and Nitzan. It was a collective piece of music, probably not as collective as Hawaii, but there were some pairs we did. Like I wrote Megalomania with the drummer, and the song Time, a conversation with my therapist, was written by the keyboard player, the other guitar player, and my brother. I added some arrangements, but we did like different small groups to create the music. And I think the music is beautiful. It's an album that's very hard to listen for me because of the context. But some comments, in the videos are, what happened? You made this album, and the band was restructured after that, because after that we have a departure of Felipe and Rodrigo, the guitar player and the drummer. It was a very hard time for people in Chile, I think, probably in the world, and it was a hard time for us. And that's the context where Beyond Drama happened, and it's a very nice piece of music. I think the sound quality is amazing, and there are some sections that are sublime for me. I'm a fan of my music, as you see.
You gotta be a fan of your stuff, otherwise you wouldn't do it. And where was it recorded? In the same studio that you mentioned before?
Some instruments. We recorded in the same studio, the drums, some acoustic guitars, and most of the vocals. Keyboards, guitars were recorded here in this studio. This is my home studio. I have a good gear to record. I have a Kemper amp. I have I have Pro Tools. I have a good Apogee interface. I have good mics, good guitars. I own an Ibanez guitar and a Bassi guitar. A Bassi is I don't know if you've heard of the band Animals as Leaders. The lead guitar. Heard the name, yeah, the guitar player has his own brand, and I bought that 8-string guitar. I had never played an 8-string guitar. It's like having an harp in.
That's in your hand, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and Beyond Drama was recorded. Many songs were recorded with 8 strings, which was something new for me, of course.
Yeah, good for you, man. Feel free to mention. Of course, they released the instrumental suite, Bahamut. I think you have it handy. Feel free to show on the.
Sure. Wait,
you will show
this. This is Bahamut.
Yeah.
It's a music suite. 13-minute music suite with 7 sections, 7 different tracks, and every track is a concept from the book. This one is inspired in a sci-fi novel by Francisco Ortega. He is a fairly known writer in Chile and in Latin America, I think. He's a bestseller. He's in every library. I mean bookstore, and yeah, and we were in honor to be invited to do music, to make music for a novel. It was a very new experience. The novel is about an AI, and when Francisco thought of IELTS, he thought of IELTS because we wrote about the future and because he loved our music. And I was really glad that he considered us because I like the topic. I like the subject, the future of humanity, AI. And we had very interesting conversations. We drank some coffees and we started developing this idea. And it's very important for us because the band had gone through that sort of breakup, not break, but restructuring of the band members. And we were looking for a drummer. And we found Álvaro Poblete, the new drummer. And we already had something to do, which is record this EP.
This guy, yeah.
So I'm very glad that Francisco, the writer, asked us to do this because it gave us a reason to react and to make music fast after the crisis. In a crisis, you need to get out of the crisis quickly so that it doesn't sink you.
Sure.
And,
by the way,
and
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No. And I think musically, it's the most futuristic music we've ever done. It's instrumental. It's everywhere. You can buy the EP in our website. You can stream it online. You can watch the video. We made a video, and that frame there.
That one, yeah,
is
beautiful.
Yeah, it's from Bahamut.
Yeah.
And you can type IELTS Bahamut, and you're gonna see that AI made video. So it's interesting because the music, the book is about AI, and when we decided to make a video, we said let's use AI for the video. Someone asked me the other day if we used AI for the creation of music, and I replied the truth. There's nothing of AI in the music. It's humans trying to sound like AI would, in a way, like
right.
futuristic, like elements, arpeggios, and moogs, sounds that evoke a futuristic era.
Yeah.
So it was a very interesting experience. Yeah.
By the way, where did you learn to speak English? In Chile, or?
I've always loved the language. When I was a kid, I listened to a lot of music.
Yeah.
And in English, I started reading in English, but I learned more when I lived in the US. I lived in California for about a year, and I studied there for about a year English as a second language. And that helped, of course.
Yeah, of course. I've been an international band. You have no choice. You need to. Let's talk about your latest work with the release of the EP Obras de los Jaivas. There's going to be release May 24 in all digital platform on a physical format through Visage Record. For people that they don't know who Los Jaivas is, feel free to describe them, and for listeners of this podcast.
Sure. Los Jaivas is a band, a Latin American band, a Chilean band that combined elements of music from the Andes, folk music, and psychedelic rock, and even prog music. So it's a sort of with this sort of Andes music. That's my description. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe you could complement what I'm saying, Claudia.
Yeah, for people that don't know, it's a very well-known band from, I think they started back in the early 70s, and they have
early 70s, yes.
Released a lot of great albums, and especially one in particular, the one from related to Machu Picchu and so forth.
Yeah.
It's a very, very well-known band in Chile. It's very popular in all Latin America. So
when I was a kid, I saw the video of the band in Machu Picchu. Imagine Machu Picchu, and I very soon made the connection with Pink Floyd in Pompeia, which is a historic place too. So they're sort of Pink Floyd, a Latin American Pink Floyd in a way. A band that we loved as kids. It's my favorite Chilean band. And we wanted to pay tribute to the band and also give back in a way to Chileans the Chilean music that inspired us. It's a sort of recognition and also a present, a gift for our music followers from Chile. So I invite you guys to listen to Los Jaivas and listen to the versions that we did. We've only released one song, La Conquistada. La Conquistada is like saying the conquered or the conquered or the the conquered.
Correct.
Like a conquered land or like a conquered city, something like that. And I think it's a song about losing the homeland, but it could be about losing a loved one. It's a song, a nostalgic song about homeland, basically, I think. And we did our own version. I invite you to listen to it. It's very different because we did a sort of industrial, electronic, heavy guitars, a sort of music. So it's very different from the original one. We thought that some people might feel confused or annoyed by the version because it's radically different. But we loved it. We loved the result, and so far the audience, our followers, have loved the song. So I really appreciate the people that have supported us, and you can watch the video. There's a music video in YouTube, and we invited a guest singer. That's an important thing because we had to, the second singer, the one that recorded Beyond Drama, had to leave too, the band. So the band has been through many
changes,
earthquakes, and it's been a little chaotic, but we're alive. We're alive and more connected than ever. And we're a 4-piece band now, and we're really connected, and we're very happy for it. And we just released a week ago La Conquistada, and we're getting excellent comments, and we're very happy. And we did what we wanted. Even if those Jaivas are annoyed by the version, we got the official permission from them. No, I'm sure they're gonna think it's interesting. We thought if we do just a cover and played it the same way they did, we wouldn't doing our best. Our way to show respect is not doing it the way they did it. It's doing it the way we wanted. If the song was ours, that was our approach, with respect, with love for the band, and tributing the band, but we didn't want to play the same.
No, absolutely. And I think that was based on the track from the artists in the early 70s, right? Or so.
Yeah, it's from the record called El Indio. I think that's the name of the record.
Yeah.
There's an indigenous girl in the cover.
Yeah, it's early 70s, I think. Yeah, but Los Jaivas had been in business for almost 60 years, and they have released at least 10 studio albums, if I remember some live ones, right? So it's the people that don't know that it's a very well-known band in Latin America. And it's
a psychedelic rock band, and they combine with Latin elements, but it's important that a very known band is an sort of experimental psychedelic band with some songs like Mira Niñita, which are more like how to call like a hymn, like a sort of Queen song, like everybody can sing. There are those songs too in Los Jaivas, and they have some very complicated sort of King Crimson-esque or like songs like La Poderosa Muerte, which is one of the ones that we're gonna do.
Yeah,
it's like the obvious song that we would do. We're doing one of the obvious options, and the other are very interesting, like La Conquistada or Mira Niñita. We're doing Mira Niñitas, which is like a children song in a way. Very beautiful.
When do you guys plan on releasing that? It's in a couple of months, right? Yeah,
In
in
a couple of
May.
months. It's in May. Yeah, in May it's gonna be released. You can
Mhm.
pre-order the album.
Yeah.
It's already available in our official website,
Yep.
ilsproject.com. You go to the store and you can pre-order. And doing that, you'd be helping us a lot, of course.
Yeah.
And we're gonna be releasing every month a new song. And when we release the last song of the EP, we're gonna start sending the CDs out for all of you guys who purchased the EP Obras de los Jaivas.
Good for you, man. And then, is there a possibility of going back on the road again and
Yeah,
touring, not just in Latin America, but starting in
yeah.
Chile, Argentina, and then, hopefully coming back to the United States or Europe?
We would love to. We already got back to rehearsals, last week.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, we hope that in a couple of months we're gonna be available and making plans for a tour in Latin America, maybe the US, maybe open in some festivals. So we're having conversations to open some bands, some maybe international bands, to make the next step for us, because we're already known like like the sort of biggest progressive rock band of the last 2 decades in Latin America.
Yep.
But still, it's not that easy, So we're working on it, and we're getting help, from labels and magazines on the support of our fans, which is very important. So whenever you stream our music, when you buy a CD, when you get to Bandcamp, as you say, you're helping the band to continue making music.
Yeah. I'm interested in purchasing a couple of things and for the band to sign it because you have a big music collection there, man. So.
It would be a pleasure to sign the records for you, Claudio.
Thank you, appreciate it. Germán, was very nice talking to you, man. Good luck to you, and let me know if anything I can do from my end to help you out. Of course, I'm going to be posting the interviews this afternoon. I will send you a direct link for your, Instagram, Facebook, social media account, and then you can upload the video to the Facebook account. I mean, for YouTube channel, I'm going to be posting the channels there and the website where people can buy your music. And also.
No, thank you for having me here, Claudio. It was great chatting with you. I really enjoyed it, and whenever you want, I'd be happy to talk to you again and to your followers.
Definitely. Okay, mucho, Germán, y que estés muy bien, mucha suerte en todo. Sé que es difícil de salir adelante en Sudamérica, pero ustedes son buenos, han hecho buenas cosas y tienen buenos temas, buenos músicos, y bueno, espero que puedan
Muchas
salir
gracias,
adelante.
Claudio. Te lo agradezco mucho, Claudio, y con estos espacios siempre se está ayudando, y agradezco tu contribución en ese sentido por la música, la cultura y el apoyo. Así que te mando un abrazo, Claudio.
Igual pues.
Y a ver si alguna vez nos tomamos un café en Santiago.
Sí, un café y una cerveza.
Una cerveza. Con el calor de ahora mejor una cerveza. El calor que tenemos acá.
Sí, bueno, que esté muy bien. Mucho gusto, hermano.
Un gusto, Claudio. Chao.
Igual.